71 years old, M, is trying to force me, F 20 years old, to be his daughter. So I didn't really know where to put this, and I've had a history of posting here. I'm currently living with a lady and her kids in an apartment until I'm able to move out. None of us are related. I've been helping with housework and watching the kids when she is away. She has a BF that is downstairs, and although he is 71 years old, with his looks you'd assume he is in his 50s or 60s. Well, for the past 2 weeks he has been taking my BF back and forth to work and eating dinner with everyone. A week ago he brought up how I'm his daughter and everyone living there are his children, including me. I took what he said by a grain of salt and honestly thought he was joking. To me, I don't personally know him, and he takes my BF to work and back and talks to the lady I currently live with. That's all I know. But recently he's been showing up at her apartment knowing she isn't here, coming in and sitting down waiting for her until she comes back. I've tried avoiding him going to the restroom and then trying to go straight back to my room, but he stops me and talks to me about how I'm his daughter and I shouldn't be wearing what I wear, and getting mad when I won't go places him and the lady I live with and her daughter goes. Now I'm actually getting creeped out by it. A man that is in his 70s comes and beats on my room door when I try to avoid him and tells me I have to go places with him and I have to wear what he sees appropriate, and I don't know him. I know nothing about him before all this. It was small talk when he was here. How'd your day go type of small talk. He has been aggressively approaching me since I stood up for myself when he told me that my clothes need to be changed and I had better put on a coat when I was burning up in the heat. And he doesn't like that I went to eat in my room and said I'm only 20, I'm a teen to him, and he can claim me as his daughter if he wants to. He's aware of what he is doing. I told him that I'm legally an adult and he has no right whatsoever to demand and tell me what to do, and he has no right to me / what I wear / where I eat and where I go, and to back off before I call someone. He's masculine and very tall. He backed off for maybe a day or two, then today he tried talking to me again and said I'm his daughter whether I like it or not. I ignored him and walked back into my room, to try to show him he literally has no rights over me and is a stranger attacking me and trying to control me. He jumped off of the couch and stormed toward me and started yelling, saying how dare I disrespect him, I'm his kid whether I like it or not, and I better show him some respect or else, and then stormed out of her apartment. I locked the door behind me and I am waiting for the lady to come back from working 2 days at a different apartment as a supervisor. I'm waiting for my BF to get off because hopefully he can help me. I'm also telling the lady that her BF is stepping over my boundaries and trying to force things upon me, but I feel like I'm going to come between them and she is going to kick me and my BF out. I'm really scared to tell her and feel like I'm putting everyone else in jeopardy as he also takes my BF to work. What should I do? EDIT, I obviously didn't go into enough detail, I just thought summing it up would be enough. However, my BF read my post and stated that I left out important information that happened, and despite me being uncomfortable about telling anyone, I feel I should put more information here so you all can have a better understanding. 1. Me and my BF work and we pay for the room we are staying in. We are currently waiting for someone to move out of the apartment and have a place available so we could move in there. 2. The lady I live with is the manager / landlord / leasing lady. 3. The reason I don't believe he has dementia, as my BF has reminded me of this, is because he has hit on me before, and even though I told him my age he replied with age isn't a problem sweetheart and looked me up and down like I was eye candy. He wasn't dating the landlady then. He has also tried going into the bathroom knowing I'm in the shower, stating he has to urinate. I waited for 3 hours to shower, then as soon as I get up he tries to follow behind me and my BF had to tell him to back off. That was last month. Now this month he's claiming I'm his daughter / like a daughter to him now that he is dating the manager / landlord lady. 4. Even though we are paying for a room, I don't get a say in who comes to her house while she is gone. I will be talking to her about his actions, but this isn't my place. The only home I'm paying for is the room me and my BF are sleeping in. I'm sorry for not making it detailish, I just felt like it would be less of a pain to read if I summed it up. The man may have dementia and B, thoughtful face, confusing you for his daughter. It still doesn't give him the right to scream at, order you around and threaten you. Seriously, ask your roommate to ban him from her apartment or call the cops. He needs to stay at his place away from you. If it happens again, dial 911 and explain a highly confused elderly man is in your home, referring to you as his daughter and is a stranger to you and you need him removed from your home. Don't put up with this kind of abuse and controlling behavior. He's probably reliving flashbacks or just is mentally unstable and delusional. If he hits you, ever file assault charges and tell your roommate what is going on. Is it possible he has some form of dementia? Honestly, I'd call adult services and explain what's going on and say you think there is something wrong with him, as he's under the impression you are his child and he has rights over you and what you do. They may help. Tell the lady. I think she'll appreciate knowing her BF is a nutbag sooner than later. You never know when this man will escalate to physical violence. And don't worry about your BF, if he's a proper adult then he can go to work by himself. Edit, typo, smiley face. I work with adults with dementia and this sounds 100% like dementia to me, from the thinking you're his daughter to the aggression. Please call adult social care in your area and get them some help. Edit, thank you for my first silver. My M24 cousin F11 kissed me, thinking I was asleep, and I don't know how to handle it gracefully. Please don't lampoon me for the age difference. I had no intention of this happening. I don't know if I should go to her parents or confront her directly, or do neither/both. Every option seems to have a bad ending. Too long, didn't read. At end. We've always been very close. Pretty much since she was born we've been thick as thieves. It wouldn't be a stretch to say she's closer to me than some of my actual siblings. We both have heterochromatic eyes too. We're cousins by marriage, so this was even more of an incredible coincidence. So my entire family treated it as some kind of prophecy for her to be tied to my hip for most of her childhood. They even wanted me to be her godfather, but I declined out of respect. This was never an issue because she had always acted almost like another sister to me. But for the past month or so she had been acting strange around me, more shy and kind of distant. I figured she was going into the teenage hate my family phase, so I didn't think anything of it. But lo and behold, during an annual family trip she comes in my room at like 7 AM. I just pretended to be asleep since I had no interest in getting up at 7 on vacation. In years past this would usually work and she'd just leave. But after she shook my leg to see if I was awake, she just went and kissed me on the lips. She had kissed my forehead or cheek when she was much younger, so it wasn't necessarily alien to me. But this wasn't a cute little kid family peck. She legitimately kissed /me. What's worse is that I pretty much froze and kept my eyes closed the entire time. I won't lie, it took me a couple minutes to even process what had happened. I don't think she ever realized I was just fake sleeping, but she just left after she did it. Needless to say, I'm pretty shocked. That was yesterday morning, and since then she is acting much more friendly to me. Uncomfortably friendly considering what she did. So I feel like this will become a big issue if I don't shut this down. But I have no idea how to do that gracefully where everyone winds up okay. I've never had to have a discussion like this or had to confront someone like this. If I tell her parents, I'm worried that they'll think I somehow instigated it, and God only knows where that thought process will lead. And, if I confront her and say I was awake when you kissed me, WTF were you doing? She'll be mortified and never speak to me again. Or even get mad that I didn't tell her sooner or stop her in the act. And then if she's all melancholy and pissed off for the rest of the trip and tells her parents why, again, I'm a dead man for not telling them and for reason mentioned before. I'm no psychiatrist, but I'm led to believe that 11 to 12 is an important age mentally for girls, so I'd hate to have her first romantic experiment wind up becoming some family crisis. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place. I feel like every option I see winds up with a bad outcome for me. Why couldn't her first crush be some boy at school? Is it even normal for 11-year-olds to be kissing people? I've always treated her, Like I said, there's a little sister and she had always treated me in kind up until now. So for this to come out of nowhere from my POV leaves me completely baffled. Should I just do nothing and hope it just turns into a funny memory? Should I confront her, tell her parents and hope they go after her and not me? But I don't necessarily want that either. Bring it up to everyone and let the cards fall where they may. I'm trying not to ramble, but this feels like a huge issue. It might not be, so tell me if I'm overreacting. I'm trying to find some way to deal with this to make things go back to normal. Too long didn't read. My younger cousin kissed me and I don't know if I should confront her, her parents, both, or neither. We're close, so I don't want to hurt her, but I don't want this to become more of an issue than it already is. I don't want this to ruin Thanksgiving for anyone. Please help. P.S. This is a lurk account, so treat it how you need to. It doesn't have the thrower title, but I don't know how to change my account name. If your comment is just calling me a creep or something, please don't. I'll take WE responsibility I had for making her feel the way she did / does about me, but I'm no P/do. Update, everything went pretty well. Maybe a different advice than the others, but I mean no harm or weirdness whatsoever. I wouldn't say a thing. Not to her, not to her parents of your parents. She is getting some romantic feels at her age. Totally normal. It can be for Justin Bieber, the boy next door, for you. She expressed that in a kiss, but I bet she feels weird about it. It was in her system. It's probably out already. If you tell her parents, for instance, I'm sure they'll talk to her about it and she'll have a hard time with this. If you say anything to her, she might feel the bond you have breaking. If she comes into your room again, do not pretend sleep again. If she wants to do anything inappropriate, tell her you are very close, but not like that. Tell her she'll find a nice BF once she's ready. Keep the bond. I'm hoping it was a one-time curiosity thing and she's satisfied with that. Keeping the bond is the goal. I'd be crushed if she thought I had betrayed her or something. I think it is pretty normal behavior for an 11-year-old to experiment and have these random behaviors. Don't draw conclusions about her feelings too fast, because it can be as small as having seen Snow White being kissed awake by the prince when she was asleep in the latest movie she watched. In short, it can have many reasons aside from her having a crush on you. I think a good strategy would be to talk to both parents and the kid as well, but in a very careful and non-judgmental way. I would keep it light towards to parents and bring it in a way like, "Hey, listen, I was pretending to be asleep and she tried to kiss me awake. I felt a bit uncomfortable, so I want to ask her why she did that." If you are approaching the parents with a red face full of guilt and nervousness, you are probably creating the parents to think there is something serious going on. But as far as we know, it can be anything, so don't make the parents freak out and bring it light. With this being said, I would go talk to the girl, confess you were not actually asleep, and ask her without judgment or making her angry why she gave you the kiss. Make sure she feels comfortable opening up by telling her you are not angry with her and she can tell you anything. Depending on what she will tell you, see how you handle the information from there and report back to the parents what was going on. You can also let the second part be handled by the parents, but I always feel it's better to talk to them yourself so they don't get a feeling of distrust towards you. Maybe try talking to her about consent. What she did to you wasn't okay, although she's obviously a child and doesn't know better, but you standing up for yourself and telling her it was not okay, is a good lesson for her to learn. I think you do need to tell her you were awake or awoken by it, and how it was uncomfortable for you and confusing. Ignoring it isn't the right thing to do. If I let her know how much it freaked me out, it might be good for her. Ignoring it seems to be 100% the wrong call based on what everyone is saying. My son wants me to force his ex to give back the family ring my mother gave her because his new wife wants it as a push present. Update, Elena called and asked if I'd consider building a fund for her youngest daughter who wants to major in French, and it's strongly recommended that language students study abroad before they graduate. Even though her daughter wouldn't be studying abroad until 2023, she still knows she cannot afford the fees for the programs offered and said if I contributed to the fund she'd give the engagement ring back. I told her given that if she's asking for a reasonable amount I'd do so, and she said then she'll hold up her end.